second family to me. It's an organization that I get inspired by. It's a group of people that I care about. It's a community. It's an organization that I believe in its vision, and I think that's the main thing that really drives me and make me want to do more. It's where everybody has a fundamental right to self-determination. It's a source for friendships and daily activities, enabling its participants to interact and be an equal member in the community. And I think that's the main thing that I'm really so, believing and making me feel that I want to be involved. I'd like to let Ruth Ann Artney, who is our director, executive director. She's the main personality behind all this. She's the one who is putting everything together, and she's the drive, and she makes sure that we are on time, so which is very important. So I'd like her to just to tell us a couple of housekeeping information and guidelines. So Ruth Ann, if you please come in, and she's also part of the board, if I didn't say it before. So.
Sure, I will take over, although I see John waving at me, so I'll let John jump in for a second.
I did want to mention that we do have a couple of other board members that are on the call as well that are with us today. On the phone, we have Diane Coleman. I do believe that's the Diane that's down there. Hi, Diane. And we also have Diane Dougherty in her home. She's waving right now with her delightful daughter, Erin. And we also have a community connector, which is Sharon Borgia, an important member of our organization. And a couple of our initiative co-leaders or leaders, and a family connection as well. We have Amanda Zutter, who's connected with the Glee every other Friday, and we have Gabby on the line. Gabby, you're doing the crafting, is that right?
Yeah, I do crafting.
Okay. Hi, Gabby.
Hi.
And I have to apologize because I don't see anybody. I didn't even see Diane and the other Diane, the two Dianes, and we have two more board members who are not here so far, right? It's Bob Stravitsky and Paul Scarnelli. If I didn't say right the name, that's okay. Anyway, so they are also board members, and so please excuse me if I didn't see you before. Okay, Ruthann.
Sure, just to let everyone know, we have several people on the call today. It will be recorded. If you would prefer to not be recorded on our call, you can certainly turn your video off, or if you choose, you can listen to the recording later. I will keep everyone on mute. Just as we are talking and presenting, I will give everyone the opportunity at the end of the call for an open discussion, for questions and so forth. But if something does come up during our discussion today, please feel free to use the chat feature, which you'll find where you can type in your question. It will go to us. I'll be monitoring that throughout the session, so I can either interrupt, I can answer the question for the entire audience, I can chat with you directly, or we can save that question to the end of the meeting and leave that open for discussion at that time. You can also raise your hand. There is a little raise hand feature. If you do need to interrupt for something, we can certainly stop. We do have a lot of things that we do want to cover today, so we hope to go through all of our information with you. And then, of course, we do want to hear from you, so that's going to be the biggest part of our discussion today, is hearing back from everyone in the audience. I think I covered everything, so I would like to turn it over next to Darlene McGuido-McLaughlin, who again is our founder for the PBS Community Foundation.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming on the call. We are all here virtually. We wish we were here physically, but we're doing the best we can. So I wanted to just kind of welcome everybody and also just kind of make a few statements about the foundation, and Tal did a nice overview this morning, but our mission really is independence without isolation. And who knew that we were all going to find ourselves isolated? For a number of weeks now, we've all been sort of apart and in our own spaces, and many of us have lost job opportunities in the last couple of weeks. Not having that routine of getting up in the morning and having a place to go and people to see. We've lost some social contacts, right, with our families, with our friends, especially around the holidays. It gets a little bit difficult to not have those big celebrations, right? And certainly be able to, go to church or synagogue to, pray. That's a difficult thing. Some people have lost the routine of their direct support staff members coming in, and just that, business as usual feeling that brings us all a lot of comfort and a lot of confidence. Everything is kind of turned upside down these days, right? Some of us, many of us now know somebody either directly or indirectly who may be impacted by the COVID virus, people who have passed away, people who are very sick, people who are in isolation. So there's a lot going on. And, here we had a conversation about PBS Community Foundation, and we had a conversation about independence without isolation. And you know what? It's a very level playing field now. Everybody is isolated, right? We're all in this together. We're all in the same place. So what we really wanted to do was spend some time this morning kind of laying out some options, giving people a voice and an opportunity to speak about what that experience has been like. And I don't want to be a downer, because there's probably been a lot of upsides too to this time alone. Many of us are getting very creative. We're reconnecting with our immediate families, right? Which maybe we took for granted a little bit before, right? Many of us are doing things creatively, connecting with other people for dinner remotely, right? And doing some remote things. So I think technology is bringing us back together, or at least making an attempt to do that. Today, what you're going to hear about is all the platforms that the foundation has created for virtual connecting, which I think is really important. You're going to hear from some direct human beings, community connectors that are always in your court trying to find new things to do and new ways to connect. You're going to see a little bit about some resources in your local community that we've begun to collect and post on our website. And we're going to have a chance at the end just to talk about anything you want to talk about, supplies you need, questions you have, maybe some coping strategies. So whatever we can do as a group, as a board, to help you guys through so that you're feeling more connected, more like a second family, is here for you. That's really the purpose of the call. So I'm going to turn it over to Ruth Ann, who is going to talk a little bit about what's happening event-wise with Foundation during this time. I just am happy to have all of you around. And if we need to repeat this call and do another town hall in the future, if you want to spread the word, we're happy to do that as well.
Great, thank you, Darlene.
Thanks, Darlene.
Okay, hope everyone can see my screen, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Okay, great. So for the month of March, everyone was thrown for a loop, of course. We weren't able to connect as a group for our initiatives that we're so used to doing on a weekly basis. The venues that we use, most of them were closed. Since then, Of course, all of them are closed. So we did a lot of work to get everything moved onto a virtual platform. So we're really excited that for the month of April, we started doing a shift. Our program initiative leaders have been incredible in adapting each of their initiatives to the online platform. Of course, it's different, but it's still great. Big Time Glee we have been able to do. Nassau Voice is coming up at the end of the month. The Crafting Connection we've done virtually. Midweek meetups and Yoga Without Boundaries. Probably wouldn't think that we could do them virtually, but we are. And they're fantastic as well. These leaders for midweek meetups, and Dan, of course, for Yoga Without Boundaries, has stepped up so that they're not only doing it every other week, but during this time, they are stepping in to offer these initiatives every single week. So what I would ask is that you check our events calendar, and I'm going to show you where that is on our website, pbscommunityfoundation.org. I'm going to click on that. It should take us over to our website. Here we are, Happy Together on the main page. You'll go up to events and the calendar. I'm going to scroll down and let's see what's on the calendar. So I can take a look for this week. We're in the town hall meeting, but tomorrow I'm really interested in a midweek meetup. We're going to talk about Disney trivia tomorrow. So I would just click on that link. Takes me to the event detail. And I can see right here, I have the link in order to get onto that Zoom call. It's also down here on the website information as well. That's all I need to do in order to link up to join into that initiative. Courtney also does send out a reminder typically on Facebook, on social media, and typically on email with a direct link to get onto that Zoom initiative about 15 minutes beforehand, but that's just a second reminder. You don't need it. It's always on the events calendar. One other thing that I did want to mention was that I'm back to my calendar, and I missed yoga last week, and Dan was fantastic. I can click on yoga for last Thursday in the event detail rather than having the link to that Zoom meeting. Now I have a link to the recording. So on my own time, I can go in and I can practice chair yoga with Dan whenever I want to. I can view the recording, and I always have that available. So we are making our initiatives available live as well as recorded initiatives so that you can go back and you can participate in these initiatives however you'd like. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, let me get back to my presentation. Okay, so for the time being, like I said, that's what we are doing for our initiatives. We're so glad that we can offer them. We've had a tremendous response. I have to say, I'll use Dan's yoga as an example. We've been getting a lot of participation at the yoga studio. However, the last time that we did it virtually, we had 41 people join us for chair yoga. So it's great. Come try something new, come meet some new friends. You don't have the issue of distance or perhaps you can't get somewhere in time or it overlaps. Now we're kind of in this together. So look at it as an opportunity to be able to try some new things, to meet some new people, and check out some initiatives that maybe you couldn't participate in the past. I do want to mention our 3 awesome community connectors, Sharon Borgia. Sharon is on the call. She handles the East End. Courtney Braun handles Western Suffolk, and Marissa Ludwikowski covers Nassau. They're available to help you find your local resources. So while the PBS Community Foundation does some great initiatives, we want to help you find the resources that are local to you, because there are so many people now, businesses, organizations, individuals in the communities that are out there offering things virtually, such as we are. They're offering assistance. They're offering all kinds of things. So I encourage you to reach out to them if there's something that you need, or if you have a question, or just, want help finding something. Reach out to one of them. Their emails are listed here, and they can help you make a connection to some of your local resources. They have been the ones that are helping me put together a resource list, which is going to be posted later today on our website. You'll see there's a whole section now on our website for COVID-19 resources. Tremendous amount of information about different activities, art studios, exercise, cooking classes, so many things that I didn't realize even existed. There's so many things across Long Island that are available to you. So they're the people that you want to connect with from the foundation if you're looking for something in particular. I did include on this some resources for you that we have found. So we're not just looking for activities. We're not just looking for fun things to do. We want to help provide for you some information regarding COVID-19, because there can be a lot of misinformation out there. It's hard to sort through it. There's so much coming at you every day. We're not sure how much to look at, what to read, what resources are factual and what resources are fake. So we are providing for you some great links of general information for COVID-19, such as World Health Organization, the CDC, Center for Disease Control, and so forth, as well as local resources in Suffolk County and Nassau County. Also, if you yourself or a family member feel that you have symptoms, we have some recommendations for places that you would call to get further advice as to what you should do. Generally, stay home, call your doctor, call any of these hotlines. If you need testing and so forth, they will direct you. So these are great numbers to have. And again, we're going to keep them on our website for you, so you'll be able to find them in the future. Specifically for individuals with disabilities, if you have any questions, even beyond just your general health, call your DSP, call your broker, call your care manager or your CCO. You have a circle of support, rely on that circle. This is the time to reach out to that circle for your needs. We do have a listing of some of the care managers and their numbers, as well as emergency numbers. And beyond that information, next up the chain would be the OPWDD office. Some additional health or mental health resources. These days, not only your physical health, but our mental health is certainly affected by the circumstances that we're living in today. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. That's nothing to hide. Certainly you want to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. We have some resources listed for you, websites, as well as phone numbers that you can call. We have some links for you to restaurants and food delivery. This is, it's a big deal right now. We're trapped inside of our homes for the time being. I say trapped, meaning that we can't come and go as we typically would be used to doing. So we're modifying what we need to do, as are other places helping us. Edible Long Island has a running list of all the restaurants. So your favorite restaurants may have pickup or delivery services for you. Yellowtop Farms delivers produce and pantry essentials. I've heard great things about them too, as well as Instacart, Grubhub, different resources for you that will do deliveries from your local grocery stores. Beyond that, if food is a concern for you, there are food pantries, many of them available across Long Island. Don't hesitate to use them. if you need them. There is a listing on foodpantries.org. Of course, many of you have heard of Long Island Cares, and at this time, they are incredible. They have food pantries across Long Island. If you are unable to get to the food pantry, you can call the number for an assessment. Many of them will do a mobile home delivery for you if need be. So we have all of those contact numbers there for you. When you look on our website, we have a list of individual food pantries, probably about, I want to say 20 to 25 across Suffolk and Nassau County, different organizations that are available to you. So please know that that resource is available. Don't hesitate to use it if you need it.
Excuse me, Ruth Ann.
Sure.
I know yesterday we were also discussing that it's worth looking into your fiscal intermediary, your FI, that some of them are paying the actual fees. They will reimburse you for the fees for food delivery. So I thought that was interesting.
Right, right. Thanks, Teresa. Right. Yeah, certainly, you know, reach out, like I said, to your broker, because your broker can certainly assist you along with your care manager in getting some of that financial assistance and things that are reimbursable if they're in your budget. Absolutely take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely have to work with a broker to make sure you have the budget line from which your FI will pull that money.
Right.
And if you live with family, it's probably not available to you, I don't believe. But I would ask.
Yeah.
Just ask.
Okay. And finally on our website, we're going to have lots of other connections for you, at-home activities, like I said, exercise, art, cooking, all types of other media and apps. We have a lot of great resources that are out there for you. So I hope that you will take advantage of some of them, look through them. And if there's, like I said, anything else that we can suggest for you or offer assistance in any other areas, certainly please do reach out to your community connectors, and we're happy to try and assist you in any way that we can. All right, I think the next part of our presentation, we're going to open up to a discussion, and Teresa and John will be leading us in that piece of the discussion.
Just want to jump in for a second.
Sure.
Yes, the website is a work in progress. This is, we're going to keep on bringing as we go, and as long as we have to go. We're going to keep adding more stuff. So please, you know, look at it as almost like your Bible. Thank you. So.
Thank you, Tal. So, Ruth Ann, we have some FAQs. It's in the presentation that Ruth Ann had on the screen. I think is it gone now? That's fine.
It's gone. I can put it back up. Just one
Well, we had some questions that we thought might be of interest to people on the call today. However, I want to encourage anybody here to don't feel like we're bound by these particular FAQs. And in fact, it's been a very quiet audience, but if anybody needs to unmute their microphone or raise their hand through the raise hand feature, Teresa and I'm sure we want to hear from everybody and see how you're doing. And just because we thought of the questions doesn't mean that it's the only questions that you might have.
Right. This is the time of the presentation when hopefully people will ask questions. I've written down a few questions that a few folks that I support have asked already, but please, while we're going over some of the questions, if you could think of your own, or even if you just want to tell us about what it's been like for you. We really want to hear about that and connect with you on what your experience has been like.
And there's also the chat feature in the Zoom meeting here as well. Feel free to use that. Anybody?
Well, while people think about it, why don't you get started, John?
Well, okay. I guess I'll take it from the top. The first, there's a lot of people out there, and I've got several emails that I use. I have a professional email, I have a personal email, and I actually have a third email that I use kind of like my, what I call my junk email, which is, if I'm signing up for something, I give them that email. And I am getting a flood of offers to help cure the COVID virus, or to secure money or loans, or there's just a lot of people out there that are unfortunately trying to take advantage of a very difficult situation. So our first FAQ that we have up is the question of how can I be a good consumer and avoid getting scammed? Is there anybody on the call that has noticed this in their inbox or has any input? I certainly have some ideas, and Teresa as well, but I really want to encourage to hear anything from you guys about it as well. So right now I'm putting in a search for COVID in my email address, and it's coming up with all sorts of spam and other things. I know for me, if I don't know the source, if I didn't ask for an email, typically, I don't give it the time of day. If it's an offer for a cure or an offer for me to get financing or a loan or to get some other service, and it's not something that I'm familiar with or that I've had used in the past or that I've asked them to contact me, I'm going to consider that, I'm going to err on the side of caution. I'm going to consider that not something that I should pay attention to. Another thing that I often use, if there's a dubious claim or something that makes me feel, you got to trust your gut. Something makes you feel a little bit funny. Oftentimes you can look it up on the BBB, the Better Business Bureau. You can look up just bbb.org. You can find out if there's a company name associated with it. There's also a website that most of you probably are aware of called Snopes.com. That's SNOPES.com. I'm going to put that in the chat. Snopes.com is a very effective website in terms of finding out what stories are true and which stories are not true. Teresa, do you have any other?
No, I think Snopes, it's a great site. That's what I use myself. And I think, again, people have a circle of support for this reason. Yes. And I do get texts sometimes saying, this seems too good to be true. Is it? Just ask somebody's opinion. And I think that's really, really important. My brother said to me a few weeks ago, he got an email saying that he could have food delivered and it was free, and it was a scam. And he said that he just was feeling a little down and he wanted to believe it. So sometimes we want to believe things, but it really helps to bounce them off of other people. I think that's the best thing we can do.
What about Matt or Justin, if you've noticed, if you've ever had this happen where they're trying to get personal information from you? Like, I get these emails that says your PayPal account is frozen. Yeah. Click here to verify your recent activity, and it looks very legitimate. But if I were to consider clicking through to that website, if I look at the actual website, it's not going to be www.paypal/something. It's going to be www.something-else/PayPal, and it can be very easy to get tricked by those things.
I normally delete them.
You delete them, Justin?
Yeah, from my email.
Yeah. Amazon, PayPal, your bank, your credit card if you have one. Nobody is going to contact you via email anonymously and ask you for personal information.
John, it can actually happen from phone calls. So it happens to me sometimes too.
That's happened to you, Matthew?
Yeah, because like I got like what happened was that by my house where there used to be a state farm near my house. So all the time like there's people that always like go in there and try to like call people, try to scam people by saying that they're like a roofing company or something kind of like that. Or I like noticed people in the past basically tending to be like my neighbors or people that didn't scam because they're tortured in their old way near me, or they're squatters. Basically, they're scamming older people that they're like family members from the past and doing that type of stuff, trying to take advantage of people. But she's saying that my daughter but they had a girl between that received one most daughter and her granddaughter's getting sick from COVID-19 and she needs money. To please give me about $1,000 to pay my daughter's possible expenses.
That's a very good point. And because you're a good guy, if somebody gives you a story like that, you think, oh, I want to help. And we all want to help in our own ways, but there are plenty of legitimate ways that you can get involved. I love that you brought that up, Matt. And I hope that you talk to your folks and your brothers about it. And
it was pretty interesting, John. I noticed if you type in numbers into Doodles and actually track numbers of what you know as a scam, because people can post stuff on Doodles and let people be informed if it's a scam or not. But sometimes I don't trust it because I'm not too sure if it's actually truthful or not.
that's great. What is that?
Sean, you know what? Can I add one thing? Actually, this week, I also got a hijack email saying that they had my contact list and they were going to do all these terrible things to my computer if I didn't pay $1,450. And so I talked to Jackie Peters, who is the technology guru at PBS Consulting. And she actually advised me to do exactly what Justin said, which is to delete that email. But she also told me that I should make sure that it went to a notify spam so that no more of those could get through, and that I also empty my trash. And I know sometimes we don't always think to do that, but you know, when we delete an email, it goes into a trash file, and it still potentially could do some damage to your computer. So if you're really worried about it, you might want to go to your trash file and just permanently delete the trash so that this way here it's not hanging around in that file.
Yeah, and it's not just emails. I know on Facebook, I've been getting comments on pictures saying, I'd like to meet you. Are you quarantined? And I got really scared because there was no way I knew this person, and I couldn't understand how they were commenting on my daughter's pictures and my pictures. So we all need help. And I went to my daughters and said, why is this happening? And they showed me how to go on to my privacy settings and make it so that only my friends could see my pictures. And then they showed me how to go on and block those 3 people that were from another country from seeing my Facebook and going on. So
The very scary thing is from Social Security. And I get it because I handle my daughter's, paperwork. And it sounds so really true that, and, we get very scared, but.
is that a phone call, Tal? Because I think it comes from all different places. Tiffany,
Right.
were you going to say something about how you get them? It's not just emails? Where's Tiff?
Let me take her off of mute. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi. It's also on the house phone too.
Yes.
What happened to you on the house phone, Tiff?
That it comes up scam calls and I don't answer it.
Okay, good, good.
But it comes from all, whether it's email, whether it's, I get it on texting, Social Security, Medicare. That's definitely They'll never call you, never do anything like that. So
So now that everybody's getting warmed up, I know you're going to have some questions of your own. I'm going to go on to the next one, and then maybe you guys could talk to us a little bit and tell us what's going on with you.
Before
But
you-
another question was, what could I do if I see someone I know is sick and I'm not able to see them or get in touch with them? And I think that this is happening. I know of a few people who got sick and then their friends didn't know how to reach their parents or their friends. So one thing I see people doing is asking their friends, if you did get sick and I couldn't reach you, is there someone else I could email or text? Because you're a good friend and I don't have any other contacts for you. So that's one thing we can do. I think we could also make like signs and hold them up. So I think that would cheer somebody up if they were sick. You know, if you made a sign that said, get well soon. I know a lot of the frontline nurses and doctors in hospitals are asking people not to send mail because there was some talk about possible, the virus spreading. So they recommended that we make signs and hold it up. You could email. Does anybody else have any ideas about what you would do if a friend got sick, or staff or a family member? What would you do to stay in touch?
FaceTime?
FaceTime.
Who said that? The queen of FaceTime? Was that Tiffany?
Yeah,
You've been doing an awful lot of that, right, Tiff?
yeah.
And I know you've been staying in touch with people. What do people use besides FaceTime? Is everybody getting the technology down?
I hear Zoom is very popular. I know some people are using it.
What's
Were you going
that?
to say something, Justin?
Google Duo.
Oh,
It's also pretty popular too. I think that sometimes people have been using like Doodle Hangout, like your email on each other, trying to talk to each other on their phone. That's what I've been doing. Sometimes I've been going out for walks and bumping into my friends, like once in a while. So, yeah.
has anybody done any drive-bys? Tiffany's gotten a few from me, right? Tiff, we talk from
Yeah.
in between the glass door. Has anybody done that?
I have.
Yes, I did a drive-by birthday party for my cousin.
That's great.
Yeah,
I've done it with my daughter. I'm sorry.
we just had somebody across the street, a little girl, it was her birthday the other day, and all I hear is a bunch of beeping and cheering, and I look out the front door and I see this line of cars just going by with balloons and big signs, happy birthday. It was so cute. It was really cute.
So inspirational.
Does
Right.
anybody on the call have grandparents who they haven't been able to see or visit as a result of the COVID situation? And so what are you doing to stay in touch with your grandparents?
Mine, I have my grandpa, so I usually go up and visit. Like I've visited him like twice.
You stayed outside.
Like we stay outside the house, and we basically brought up like food for him. We basically had like social distance, like lunch and dinner. And, we went in separate cars to the beach and everything. And then he's doing the same thing with his friends up there. So he seemed much fine. So we check on him every once in a while.
That's nice.
It's really nice. Cooking and baking and, even just bringing some flowers or something and leaving them outside can be a great way to let them know you're thinking about them. I know I have a few young people that I work with where their grandparents are kind of involved in, in their lives on a regular basis. Some of my younger students, may have grandma come over and, be there after school. And their lives are really challenging right now because they miss that contact and they miss their caregivers in a way, right? And so they're staying in touch, with Google and Zoom and that kind of thing. But having that, drive-by visit is we were talking about is really an extra special way of letting them know that you're thinking about them.
Definitely.
So something very weird, not weird, but very nice. Grandchildren took a picture and they sent it to us. There is a company who will do a live size of them from the picture. And yes, they did. And they sent it to their grandparents because they are in Arizona and they are here. And they have life size of their grandchildren. And they said, please hug us and we're gonna feel it, which was really, and it's not very expensive. So if you can't really do it.
What a good idea, Tal. I see Trish Calandra on here. Maybe Trish is going to send it as a broker. Trish, you can make a life-size cutout of yourself. What do you think?
Now that would be funny.
That high school picture you just posted, you could do
Yeah,
that.
what a difference today, isn't it?
Put something really great in the chat. Can you talk about that for a second? Because there's a number of sites like what you're talking about, but I think that's a great idea. Ross?
Yes, I haven't used House Party yet, but I heard it allows you to kind of put some interactive online games together, which is great. You know, we're all like chatting together, but it also allows you to interact in another way that makes it so socially constraining to people. So just another resource. I've been using Zoom a lot to hang out with friends online. I just had like a Zoom date with my 2 friends last night. That was great. You know, so things like that is a great resource to kind of keep that connection going.
They also say that this has been the cause of the return of the telephone.
Yeah.
People are reverting back to the good old telephone. And I've been calling people that, you know, I've been a little bit out of touch with, but that maybe there are folks that are, you know, single or they're isolated one way or the other. They live not in a city, but out in a rural area. I'm keeping in touch with them. They're also keeping in touch with me. It makes us all feel good to be connected. And I hope that that lingers after this passes.
Yeah, I think it will. I see Sharon is saying that she uses House Party. She has something she wants to tell us. Also, I have to say about Sharon, how many people have seen the video of her with the fruit on her head?
I have, yes.
I'm sorry, that wins an award. That is classic.
All of them.
Sharon, what do you want to do? Sharon has something she wants to tell us.
I actually have been using House Party. Marissa actually had found it, one of our other community connectors, a few weeks ago. So I signed up some of the people that I work with to it. And it's fun. It has some really basic but very interactive games. So I don't know how many of you guys know headbands, but it has headbands.
I love
that. Yeah, it has a lot of games that are free and that you could just, when your friend pops up, you can invite them to play the game with you. You can just talk as you're playing the game and play and have a good time. So I've been using that almost more often than Zoom to talk with, you know, some of the participants and just, you know, have some fun with them. And I was doing it as we were having Easter dinner. So it's definitely a fun little interactive thing. I did want to ask about the birthday drive-through. Is there, I don't know how this would work, but is there kind of like an ongoing list of people whose birthdays are in the time where maybe, you know, we could help set up people going to do the drive-through? Because there's a few people I know who's had birthdays, but I guess they didn't have the network around them to kind of set up having somebody go and do the drive-by.
I think that's a great idea.
Yep.
We'll have to think about how, I know at PBS, we have, you know, I don't know how many staff now, almost 70 probably. And we have that, it appears on our calendar. I wish there was a way that, I know on Donna Irving's site, I know a lot of people are on that. She wishes people happy birthday. I've been seeing, but I think Donna, and I spoke to Donna yesterday on the phone. I think that maybe she has a list of a lot of people that are on that site, their birthdays. We'll connect with her.
Okay.
Great idea. I had a birthday drive-through with people playing musical instruments, and it was a lot of fun. It really, and if anyone out there has a birthday and they want somebody to drive by their house, just let us know. We could do
I
that.
would do it.
And that's a very good point. If you need or feel like you're isolated and you want support, I applaud just ask for it. Just let people know. Hey, call me tomorrow. Would you mind doing it? I've had a couple of people do that. Check in with me if you don't mind. I think that's a sign of strength, not a sign of.
Without a doubt.
Another
question.
I'm sorry, Teresa. I saw Justin raised his hand, so I wanted to give him an opportunity.
Oh, good.
No, about the birthday drive-bys, I know mine's in September.
Hey.
So I
Keep that
don't
in
know,
mind, Justin.
yeah.
We'll definitely keep that in mind. I just wanted to hit this question because I was talking to Ruth's mom, Susan Wexler, about this last night. Where could I find protective equipment, masks, and gloves so my DSPs can return to work? This is a great question, and I know someone who I support had asked me that last week, and I tried to get my hands on some masks, and it wasn't easy, but I was able to and distribute them to her staff. But we have to be on top of this. Susan was saying that there is one fiscal intermediary, one FI that is supplying them. And I confirmed that last night, that East End Disabilities people were driving out. Do any of the other brokers, Trish or John, anyone know if there's anyone else doing that? I know it's being looked at right now.
Well, I know that Spectrum Design has repurposed their t-shirt shop to do PPE.
Yes.
And I think they're willing to talk to people that may not have the means to purchase, but they're also selling that. I'll put their
yeah, if you could put that link up. And I think what Trish just said, and this is a very good point, one of the questions was, well, in the beginning, we were being told not to wear masks, and you are right. If you were watching Channel 12 or CNN or Fox or whatever you watch, we were being told you don't have to wear masks. Now it is being, the governor is telling us that, and scientists, that's who we listen to, correct? Scientists and doctors that we see on TV, they are telling us it is, if we can't be physically, 6 feet apart, if we have to go into a store, if we really need groceries, that we should wear a mask. So I think that maybe in crafting we could make them. Someone just told me there's a great on YouTube how to make it out of a t-shirt. Maybe we should all start connecting, because this could go on for months and we will need masks. So I think that is something that we could all start thinking about.
well,
I have called up to ISS as well. I have emails, as well as Care Design had a call last night, and they're also looking into it on how to get things to the FIs to distribute, and how do they distribute from there.
Good. And I know Susan Wexler also wrote a letter to Alan Kulczynski. I think that people are starting the letter writing because, again, we are being told now that we should be wearing, gloves and masks to help.
Right. And Teresa, I have two things to say. One is that I'm going to be reaching out to Lori to try and see if we can order some masks for the Northport office as well, because I'm thinking that if people begin to phase back into work, we may be able to go on appointments if either A, we have some antibody testing, or B, we have some masks and protective equipment on. So we're gonna be looking to order some as well there. I have no idea what the turnaround time is gonna be on that, but maybe we will reach out to Spectrum to see if they have a supply available for us. But
I think
that
that's a
being
great
said,
idea.
this morning, I went to the supermarket before I came on the call, and I have to tell you that I'm in Hampton Bays right now, but 100% of the people in that supermarket were wearing masks.
Yes.
Every shopper and every worker had a mask on. And so if I had shown up, I mean, I had a scarf on that I just had wrapped around. It's kind of like a homemade thing, but had I shown up without my mask, I'm not sure that I would have been welcomed in the store. So I just want people to be aware of that. There has been a shift. And sometimes it's hard to adjust to these changes because first you're told this, don't take the masks away from the doctors. Now, all of a sudden everyone has masks and I'm like, okay, what happened? So I think all of us are feeling a little behind the curve. And I just wanted to point out that if you do have to be somewhere to either pick up your food delivery or to go grocery shopping, you probably do want to wear that mask. That seems to be what's happening now in most communities.
Right, and there is guidance on it. The Department of Health, our governor, Andrew Cuomo, I think Trish, you mentioned that they are talking about people, in under OPWDD. And I think that we will start getting more resources, but for now, I think as a community, as a family, we need to all be talking to each other. I know I believe, price gouged getting the masks I got, but I needed to get them to some staff. So I think we need to start sharing resources here at the Community Foundation. If anybody knows of any, I see Gabby already said people on Etsy are making them. But we do need to start sharing resources because we're going to need a lot of masks.
Right. There is an organization, it's called the Quilt Makers. I'm trying to Google them. I can't find it, but I'm going to ask my friend again who made all the masks. And it's still, she said she has 15 and she's going to send it to me. But she says they're not making quilts anymore, they're making masks. And they're big, big organization. So I'm going to try and get to them
Good.
today.
Well, let's network.
Yes. Okay.
Matthew, did you have a comment?
Out there. I think Brian, you're on. Who else is on out there? I can't see everyone.
Teresa, I think Matt Grogan had a question.
Oh, good.
I have to tell you guys something. But I've been noticing with everything from the mask and all the food situation is because the media worded it unfairly to the people, so people are not realizing that it's not okay to take a lot of food, because what's happening is that people overeat sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
People overeat sometimes and not realizing to harvest the food and save leftovers, make sure you eat in portions, try to save leftovers and try to make the mask yourself. So most people are not realizing that stuff misnutrition.
Great.
Today. Yep.
Yeah, and the masks, I'm sure we know this, but the masks are not just to keep us safe, it's also to keep other people safe.
Right.
And if you get a mask, let's say you make your own or you buy one off of Etsy or whatever, you really do need to be prepared to wash it frequently. So a single mask is not, for me, a single mask will not be sufficient. You need multiple masks to be able to make sure that you're keeping sanitized.
Oh, I agree. That's why we should look at our old t-shirts, because I hear that YouTube video, how to make them, is wonderful. I'm going to look at it right after this call. We'll see how simple it is. I wanted to hear from a few self-directed folks on how they're coping. Brian, are you on?
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm here.
Yes.
We hear you, Brian. We hear you.
Oh, okay. No, I was just, I was going to say, I mean, I'm really behind the times with technology. I was trying to text that to Teresa because I'm obviously on the call, but I can't see anything. I'm just on a voice call.
Okay, that's okay. We can hear you, Brian.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't really have any questions or anything, but.
Well, we're just glad you're here.
All right, thanks.
And let us know if you need anything.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? How's everybody getting along? How's everybody coping?
I've been coping good. been helping my stepdad. I actually got his chainsaw started a couple of weeks ago before to cut up some wood and get some firewood going for next season.
Great. Well, Justin, I've been sitting at your kitchen table before with you and Mom, and you burn a lot of wood in that house.
Well, I think
But you know, that's a great strategy to take on a project that takes a lot of time and a lot of energy that you may not be able to do when you're in your normal routine. And sometimes that's a great thing to feel good about the day and what you're getting accomplished and how, you know, you're thinking forward to the day when you're going to need that wood. I think that's good strategies for getting along.
Yeah.
I've started a little garden at my house.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, a little tabletop garden. It's sitting in the backyard, and hopefully I'll be able to share some tomatoes and squash with you guys.
Well, the old Victory Gardens, right? For my birthday on Amazon, I had delivered a 6-foot-long standing cedar garden that my husband put together. I've already planted lettuce and spinach, and gardening's a great way to go to the grocery store less, right?
Yeah.
I've actually been going to, if I have like too much fruit or vegetables, things like that, I'm starting to dry everything and store things dried and canned.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so sometimes, you know, I don't want to go to the grocery store a lot. We can't. So being able to dry my fruits and can my veggies is giving them more life, longer life, and allowing me to be in the store a lot less.
That's smart. You know, and it's funny too, because as I look at all of our faces, and I know like most of you, we're all quarantined with different people. Some people are quarantined by themselves because they live independently and their staff aren't able to get in. Some people's with their spouse. You know, I've been married 36 years, but I really know Steve Grieco well now after almost a month of every minute with him. I ran into Erin. Are you on? Are you still on, Erin? Is Erin and Diane on?
I don't think so.
Diane is.
Oh, Diane is.
Diane
I
Coleman.
bumped into Erin in her parking lot, and I thought it was really neat when you're quarantined, you know, with a roommate, but everyone's in a different situation. You know, who they're with, you know, you've been with. So I just think that's really interesting to think about which of our friends are quarantined by themselves and make sure they don't feel alone. It's a great time to reach out to people right now. Just
I think
ask.
the next two topics, can staff accompany to the hospital? I think there's something new about it. So Teresa, you know, if you want to touch about it, and also about the fake news. I think that we spent some time talking about it. So maybe John and Teresa, you can.
Well, I think we have the link up here in the beginning. People were being told that they weren't allowed. You know, a lot of pregnant women were going in, had to have a baby by themselves. A lot of people with diverse abilities were getting sick, and they maybe needed someone to help them with the intake, but they weren't allowed in. And now the health advisory from the Department of Health and our governor, it's updated guidance, and it does say that anyone who has a support person who's deemed to be essential is allowed in with them. So I think it's a good idea, it's on our website, to make a copy of this and keep it with you. I know I keep this in my car, as well as a copy of the letter saying I'm an essential staff in case I got stopped or people said, what are you doing? So all direct support staff got that letter from ISS. Does anyone else think there's anything else important to keep on us at this time?
Well, that form that we got from Care Design.
Yes, the 2-page,
right?
You know, what about me, and also the life plan. Have the life plan printed out.
That's a good idea, Trish.
And you know what, Teresa, one of the things I want to add is that one of the things that I think makes this so difficult is that things are changing all the time. And change is very difficult for most of us just on a regular basis. And we're sort of being hit with changes all the time now. So I would expect that after May 1st or so, when businesses start to open and people start to return to work, there's going to be very specific guidelines about who can go to work and when you can go and how many people can go at once. And you know, when you're going places, there's probably going to be some limits on how many people are allowed in at once. So there's a lot of things that are coming down the pike that people probably need to pay attention to and be aware of, and just kind of go with the flow for a while. You may not agree with some of the decisions that are being made by the scientists and the government, but we kind of all have to just listen, be good listeners, and kind of be good followers for at least the short term until all of this has passed. And then we can be a little bit more and more our independent thinkers that we want to be. You know, there's a lot of sacrifices that we have to make right now, but I just think everyone needs to kind of pay particular attention to all the details that are about to come as we begin to return gradually and you know, over time to a more normal life.
I agree. We have to pay attention, but we also, I think, have to pay attention to ourselves. So I know some of you, I know some people have had a hard time finding someone to talk to in the way if you didn't have a therapist. I think right now everybody could use a therapist. And I think that it's really important to reach out. On our site, we have numbers, crisis numbers. If you just have a really bad day and you need to speak to someone and no one's answering from your circle of support, call that number. It's up there. If you need to do, if you're very anxious, you need meditation would help. We have a number up there. Reach out to your circle of support. I know that many therapists are doing online therapy, and in some cases, we had to reach out to the care managers because, like Lish, for example, which some people go to, I know that are on this call, they're asking for new forms to be filled out. So the care managers are really helping with that. But there are resources out there. If you're feeling a little blue or down or frustrated, please make sure you reach out to everybody on your circle of support. And we all need to do that at this time.
Right. And everybody, just to add one more point, is that everybody should have a plan of 1 or 2 or maybe 3 things that you could do when you're frustrated, when you're angry, when you're, you know, sad. And for some of us, that means taking a walk around the block. For others of us, it may mean doing a meditation session. Or I love the fact that Dan's chair yoga sessions are recorded. So maybe just going online and or maybe, you know, looking at a video or listening to a favorite song or favorite artist that you like. Maybe it's doing a craft, painting a picture. You've got to figure out something that helps you to feel good and relax and kind of centered, because almost every day, I don't know about you guys, but almost every day there's some frustrations that you just, you know, you're trying to buy chicken nuggets and you've been to the store 3 times and they just don't have them. And it gets very frustrating because we're not able to gain access to the things that we really like. So if you feel that way, just say, you know what, I'm going to go to the store and then I'm going to go, you know, for a walk. I'm going to, on the way to the store, I'm going to listen to my favorite song so that I can be nice and relaxed when I get there and I'm frustrated because they don't have what I'm looking for, right? So I think you just have to, everybody has to have 1 or 2 or 3 things on a list that makes them feel good. That's their go-to things for relaxing, and you know, try those things out. Hopefully it will help.
What does everybody do? Tiffany, I see you there. What do you do when you need to cheer yourself up?
Listen to YouTube.
Funny things or
Just looking up different pets and stuff like that.
different pets you want to ask if you could get?
Yeah.
All right. I take a walk. That's the first thing Darlene said. I could be feeling very frustrated, but if I get out in the fresh air, I've been going to Sunken Meadow with my mask on. That really, really helps me to be out in nature. How about anybody else?
Kathy and I went out this morning, and it sounds funny, but we pulled a bunch of weeds. Very therapeutic and meditative. And it's hard to think about things that are troubling you when you get focused on those little weeds. Lots of walking. And I've also, we've been trying to cook different foods. You have to be a little creative because you don't run down to the store for a missing ingredient. So I made some wonderful mushroom and buckwheat soup last night, Teresa.
And the recipe.
Wow.
Yeah. I love
really
cooking.
great.
I dance. I dance with
Wow.
YouTube and at home, just by myself. And I love it. I love dancing.
Nice. Did anybody go to Crazy John Sock's dance party? You have to register for that. Did anyone register?
No, I didn't go. No.
No.
That looks like fun.
We can have a dance party, right, Teresa?
I
good
think
idea.
we should. I love to dance.
Kathy one night, she said, check this out. And it was a Facebook streaming event with Duke the Nuke.
Oh, really?
DJ. I think he just did it on his own. He just said, I'm going to do some DJing. And he turned it into a Facebook Live. And he was letting it rock. And that was pretty cool.
Nice.
We can have him to do it for PBS.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
I like to catch up on my books because I never have the opportunity to read. So now I have the opportunity to catch up.
With 3 kids at home?
Well, please, I have to tune out
Okay.
somehow. But what I can tell you is for your local libraries that you can, since you can't go to the library, they have, you can just take out books online, either Audible or ebooks. So as long as you have a library card, you can still borrow any book or video.
And we have all kind of activities also on the library that you can
could
watch.
also download the Libby app. It's Libby. It's a free app, and you put in the barcode of from your library card, and you could get any book on audiobook. And that's what I do. I listen to audiobooks, but I've been eating more than normal. So I only allow myself to listen to the book if I'm walking. So that's how I get myself to walk.
Good
So I
idea.
hear the rest of the book. So that's Libby, Libby. It's really great.
That's been an issue with me is actually, I love to read books and I love to do things on screen, but then I forget to get out and I sleep all weird. So I've been learning, I've been finding that I've been sleeping a lot later at night and waking up a lot later in the afternoon. So I'm starting to give myself large projects. Like I made an outdoor dehydrator. I'm working on that. Like finding little Instructables. There's a website called Instructables that gives like projects, like real legitimate projects that you could use, different scrap things that you have at your home. Just finding and repurposing the things that you already have to make something different and interesting. So I found I'm taking a lot of things apart and rebuilding them and remaking them in new ways. So
I love
giving
that.
yourself a
We should have a
large
challenge.
project. Yeah, give yourself something that it's a challenge. It's something that you always want to do and never really did. Or do a science experiment too. Like there's so many fun and interesting science experiments and things that you could mix together and just kind of do something that's random and unexpected with what you have at home.
I think that would be a great idea if we can compile all kind of ideas that come from us or from our participants of things to do, rather than, not things that we are initiating, like the Glee and all that, but things that you can do on your own. Like I like starting the garden. you know, what you just said, Sharon. So,
Well,
you know, I think that's something we can do.
yeah, on your own is great. You can also, I went on a virtual museum tour.
Oh,
A couple
yes.
of other folks, we were sharing a screen and we went to a museum in France and we were able to
Wow.
go through the exhibits. I have some links for that. Actually, if you do Google arts and culture, that's a sub website of Google. They have all sorts of daily activities or ideas as well as other things. And there's lots of live streaming of music happening and also free recordings of past music concerts that are available.
There's also free links to learn. I'll share with one of you. I don't know who I'm going to email it to, but learning another language too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, send me that, Trish. I'll get it out.
Yeah, Jenna's learning Italian. Matter of fact, we're all starting to say ciao and buongiorno.
Yeah, Duolingo is a great app you can download on your phone, your iPad. I've been using it for a long time now. I've been learning Japanese, Korean, Norwegian on there, German on there. You know, you can go fun. It's all free. Great thing to do if you got some downtime.
What is that app, Ross? Type it in so we could see it.
You got it, Duolingo. And they also now have one called Duolingo Kids. So if you got a young kid at home, you know, and they're just learning the alphabet and things like that, also beneficial.
That's the link I was thinking of. Thank you.
I downloaded Duolingo when this all started, and it's been sitting on my device since then. So you reminded me.
We've got some great ideas here, everybody. Does anybody have any other resources they want to share with the group and have us get up on our PBS website? Does anyone have anything else that they think would be helpful?
I just have a question. Is the Duolingo spelled D-U-O-L-I-N-G-O? Is that right?
That's correct.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Brian. Yeah, you can't see that.
Yeah.
I'm going to text it to you, Brian.
No, I wrote it down, but I'll look.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So we do have a section up on our website. You'll see at the top menu there's a menu option that says COVID-19. Give us a little bit of time today to organize everything so that it'll be easy to find for you. With all of our resources, they're not there right now, but they will be very shortly. So, you know, by the end of the day today, we'll have that populated, but this is great information. So absolutely keep it coming as you have more apps, more links, more activities, or different ideas that you're finding. We sharing it with us, and we'll get it out there so that everyone else can benefit from it as well.
Great. Ruth Ann, did you want it sent to you? Because I did have a few that I had, like blogging and journal writing and
sure, absolutely.
Sport fishing, sporting videos, knitting, all sorts of stuff. Comedy.
That would be great. Sure.
All right. So we have, I think, about, was it 9 more minutes, Ruth Ann?
Yep, I think we're just about ready to close it up. I'd say about 5 minutes.
Okay, so I just would like to say whatever, you know, might say, but I really welcome everybody, including, you know, everybody and the participants. I see we had 16 people, and I hope we were able to help you. But I think that you most definitely helped us. You helped us to know what's on your mind, what do you need, how we can help you. And I think we are constantly looking for ways to add and expand our reaching out to you by creating more activities and events. You are the core of our organization. You are the reason for our existence. And please keep in touch, stay well, and just give all your, you know, all your ideas, because it seems like if we listen to you, to your ideas, that's where we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it right and on the right on the right way. So if anybody else, please just say whatever, including everybody.
Open forum.
Excuse me? I didn't hear John.
An open forum, if anybody wants to say anything.
Right.
Stay well, everyone. Stay healthy. Let's start making these masks. I'm gonna go look for t-shirts now.
I have a quick question. Can you send out the deck to everybody or to me or whoever wants it?
My deck?
Yes, I was actually going to put that on the website.
Great.
Make that available, sure.
And please tell friends and tell everyone that this is recorded. You can go back anytime you want. You can go back to the website and look at it and listen to it and get and add to it. So really, thank you everybody for joining and for helping. And we'll see you online and on the web.
Thank you for everything.
Have a good day.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Enjoy your day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Sharon.
Bye.
Bye. A special thank you to Rufino, put it all together, really.
I'm gonna
It's something that
pause.
You're very welcome.
yes.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Okay. All righty. Bye.
It's just us here. Diane's still on the line. Darlene's still on the call, I think. I think she was
Oh, okay.
I think she was using her phone audio.
We have 2 minutes, right, John?
Yeah, what if somebody rushes in? Say sorry, we're late.
Okay.
I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for doing.
Okay. Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
Thank
All right.
you. Bye.
Bye.